Can a single message shake the foundation of everything you've built, months, even years of growth? Imagine this. You finally feel free. You've moved on, grown stronger, and built a life no longer tied to the past. Then suddenly, your phone lights up. It's them. Your heart pounds. Your mind races. A flood of memories rushes in. The good times, the heartbreak, the tangled emotions you thought you left behind. And in that split second, you face a choice. Do you let them back in? Or do you protect the peace you fought so hard to build? But this isn't just about an ex texting you. It's a test of your boundaries, your self-worth, your resilience. It determines whether you keep moving forward or get pulled back into the same painful cycle. And the truth? Most people fail this test. They react too quickly. They give away their power. They get lost in hope, guilt, or nostalgia. They let someone else control the conversation, forgetting that they are the ones in control. But not you. Not this time. This time, you will respond with calmness, with confidence, with control. In this video, we'll uncover 7 critical mistakes you must avoid when your ex reaches out. The traps that can drag you back into emotional chaos and erase all the progress you've made. But if you avoid them, you'll come out stronger, wiser, and more in control of your life than ever before. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Your ex texting you? That's an outside event. How you respond? That's entirely up to you. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to react, how to stand in your power and become the best version of yourself. Before we dive in, if you're drawn to Stoic wisdom and want to help me share its value, hit subscribe to Stoic Station and turn on notifications so you never miss a new video. And if you're ready, let me know in the comments. Drop a 1 if you're excited for this topic. Drop a 2 if you'd like me to improve for next time. Now, let's get into it. Here are the 7 mistakes you must avoid when your ex reaches out. Mistake number 1, reacting emotionally. Stop. Your ex reaches out. Your heart jumps. Your mind races. The urge to respond immediately, whether out of excitement, anger, or confusion, can feel overwhelming. But here's the truth. Emotions cloud judgment, and when emotions take over, you risk saying or doing something you'll regret. That's why the first and most important rule is simple. Pause. Take a deep breath. Put your phone down. Give yourself time to process what's happening. When you react instantly, you're handing over control to frustration, to nostalgia, to the past. You might lash out in anger. You might soften and slip back into old patterns. Either way, you lose the self-control you've worked so hard to regain. And when you lose control, you give away your power. Take a step back. Your power lies in the pause. Instead of reacting on impulse, wait. A few hours, a full day, however long it takes for you to think clearly. Use this time to ask yourself, what do I really want? Am I responding because I feel lonely or because there's a meaningful reason? Will engaging in this conversation serve my growth or set me back? Emotional control is power, and by pausing, you're not just avoiding a mistake. You're proving to yourself that you've grown. You're no longer ruled by impulse. Growth begins with how you handle this moment. Stepping back doesn't just keep your emotions in check, it shifts the dynamic. You're no longer reacting in the heat of the moment. Instead, you're responding from a place of strength. Your ex doesn't get to dictate when or how this conversation happens. You do. You are no longer the person who jumps at every message. You no longer let emotions pull you in directions you didn't choose. Now you respond with intention, clarity, control. Remember your worth. You've spent time healing, growing, moving forward. Don't let one message undo everything you've built. Instead, use this moment to reflect on how far you've come, to reinforce your boundaries, to remind yourself of who you are now. And when you do respond, if you choose to, you'll do so as the stronger, wiser version of yourself. An affirmation to carry with you. I control my emotions. I respond from a place of strength, not impulsiveness. If this resonates with you, drop it in the comments. Let's build a community of people who are committed to becoming stronger every day. Because by pausing, you're doing more than avoiding a mistake. You're shaping the direction of this conversation. You're sending a message louder than words. You are no longer the person you used to be. You are someone who values peace, growth, and personal strength. And that is the most powerful message you can send. Mistake number 2, don't assume their intentions are pure. When your ex reaches out, it's easy to hope. Maybe they miss you. Maybe they've finally realized your worth. Maybe they've changed and want to make things right. But here's the truth. Not everyone reaches out with pure intentions. Some reach out because they're lonely. Some just want to see if you still care. Some are simply bored, curious, or craving validation. The reality, their reason for contacting you may have nothing to do with you at all. It may be about them, their needs, their insecurities, their ego. Words are easy, but actions reveal the truth. Anyone can say, "I miss you. I've changed." But words mean nothing without action. If they're serious, they'll prove it through consistency, accountability, and real effort. If all they offer are vague statements and empty promises, take it as a red flag. As Maya Angelou wisely said, when someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time. Look at the patterns, not just the promises. Think back to who they really were in the relationship. Were they inconsistent? Did they disrespect you? Did they avoid responsibility? Did they make promises they never kept? People can change, but real change takes time, effort, and consistent actions. So ask yourself, are they reaching out sporadically, only to disappear again? Have they taken real accountability for their past actions? Are they showing you genuine change, or just saying the words they think you want to hear? Don't let hope blind you. See things for what they truly are. Believe their past actions, not just their present words. Don't fall for the trap. Protect your peace. The best way to protect yourself from disappointment: manage your expectations. You don't have to decode their intentions. You don't have to give them the benefit of the doubt. Your job is simple. Protect your energy. Focus on your growth. Remember, you don't owe them anything. Just because they reached out doesn't mean you have to respond. If their actions feel unclear or self-serving, it's okay to keep your distance. They don't get to walk back into your life just because they decided to show up again. Your boundaries exist for a reason, and you have every right to enforce them. An affirmation to carry with you. I trust my intuition and protect my peace. I don't assume their intentions are pure. I observe their actions. If this resonates with you, drop it in the comments. Let's remind each other that we deserve clarity, respect, and consistency in every relationship. By refusing to blindly trust their words, you're doing more than protecting yourself from heartbreak. You're setting a standard for how you deserve to be treated. You're sending a clear message: you value yourself too much to accept anything less than respect and real effort. If they're serious, they'll prove it. And if they're not, that's their loss, not yours, because you've come too far to let vague signals or unclear intentions disturb your peace. Focus on what you can control: your boundaries, your growth, your self-worth. Everything else, let it take care of itself. Mistake number 3, don't rush to forgive or seek closure. Forgiveness is a gift, but it's a gift you give on your terms, not theirs. It's not something to be rushed. It's not something to be handed out just because they ask for it. If your ex is reaching out just to ease their own conscience, that's not your responsibility. If they want closure but you're still healing, you don't have to give it to them. Because closure, it's not something they can give you, it's something you create for yourself. You owe them nothing. Your priority is your own healing and growth, not their need for forgiveness. Don't feel pressured. When an ex reaches out, it's easy to feel pressured to forgive or offer closure, especially if they seem sincere or vulnerable. But the truth is, forgiveness and closure are personal. They can't be rushed. They shouldn't happen just because someone else asks for it. True forgiveness comes from within, and only when you're ready, not when someone else decides they need it. Closure comes from you, not them. It's not a conversation. It's not an apology. It's not a moment of, let's talk this out. Closure is something you build within yourself. It happens through reflection, healing, and growth, not from hearing one last explanation from them. So ask yourself, are they reaching out because they truly want to make amends, or just to ease their own guilt? Are they thinking about your emotions, or just looking for relief for themselves? If the answer leans toward them, then this isn't your burden to carry. You don't have to forgive just because they're ready to be forgiven. You don't have to offer closure just because they ask for it. Your healing journey is yours. It doesn't have to fit their timeline. Forgiveness does not mean reconciliation. You can forgive someone without letting them back into your life. Forgiveness isn't a doorway for them to come back in. It's a release, a way to free yourself from anger, resentment, and pain. It's for you, not for them. So take your time, heal in your own way. No one has the right to decide when you should forgive or how you should move on, except you. If they're truly sorry, they will respect your boundaries. They won't rush you. They won't pressure you. They won't guilt-trip you into responding. They will understand that their actions have consequences. Because healing, it's a process. And if they're unwilling to give you time and space, that's a clear sign their intentions aren't as pure as they claim. You are protecting yourself. By not rushing to forgive or offer closure, you are protecting your emotional well-being, respecting your own healing process, sending a powerful message that you value yourself. You're not in a hurry to move on just for their benefit, because forgiveness and closure are gifts you give to yourself, and they happen when you're ready, not when someone else decides it's time. Don't let guilt pull you back. You've come too far to let guilt or someone else's need for closure derail your progress. So focus on what truly matters: your peace, your growth, your future. And everything else? It will fall into place when the time is right. Mistake number 4. Don't overshare too much, too soon. When your ex reaches out and asks, "How have you been?" you might feel the urge to show them how great you're doing. Maybe you want to prove you've moved on. Maybe you want to remind them of what they lost. But here's the problem. Oversharing gives them power. It can disrupt your peace. It can reopen old wounds. When you reveal too much, you lose control of the narrative. You're letting them back into your world unnecessarily. Why oversharing is a mistake? It often comes from a need for validation. You want them to see how much you've grown, how happy and successful you are. But here's the hard truth. If they didn't truly value you when they had you, they probably won't appreciate you now just because you tell them how great you're doing. It makes you vulnerable. By sharing too much, you're giving them insight into your emotions, your mental state, your life. And that information, it can be used to manipulate or influence you, whether intentionally or not. So, what should you do instead? Keep it simple, keep it neutral. If they ask, "How have you been?" you can simply say, "I'm good, thanks." That's it. You don't owe them details. You don't have to prove anything, because the less they know, the less power they have over you. This isn't about being cold or rude. It's about protecting your peace and maintaining your boundaries. You control the story now. You decide how much to share. And most importantly, your life is no longer their business. Your life is yours, not theirs. Your relationship ended for a reason. That means they no longer have the right to know the private details of your life. Whether you're thriving or still healing, that's your journey, not theirs. Because oversharing, it creates a false sense of intimacy. It makes it easier for them to slip back into your life in unhealthy ways. It can bring back old emotions, making you unconsciously fall into familiar patterns. And before you know it, you might find yourself seeking their approval, validation, or comfort, things you should now be finding within yourself. Protect your energy by keeping it short and neutral. By keeping your responses brief and neutral, you're protecting yourself from falling back into old dynamics. This doesn't mean you have to be rude or dismissive. It just means you are prioritizing your emotional well-being over their curiosity. If they truly want to reconnect, they will respect your boundaries. They will take the time to rebuild trust. And if they don't respect your space, they'll lose interest when they realize they can't easily access your emotions anymore. Either way, you win. The message you're sending by not oversharing. By holding back, you're making it clear that your life is yours to protect. You are no longer letting others dictate your emotional state. You are in control, so focus on your growth, your peace, and your future. Because the less they know, the stronger you'll feel. Mistake number 5, don't fall for the "let's talk" trap. When your ex reaches out and says, "Let's talk," it's easy to feel curious or even hopeful. You might think this is your chance to reconcile or finally get the closure you've been searching for. But before you step into that conversation, ask yourself, why do they want to talk? Are they taking responsibility for what happened? Are they offering real solutions for past issues? Or are they just reopening a door they don't actually intend to walk through? Because vague conversations with no real purpose, they lead nowhere. And if you fall into this trap, you might end up feeling even more confused and hurt than before. "Let's talk" is a red flag. Why? Because it's vague. It's unclear. Most of the time when an ex says, "Let's talk," they're just testing the waters without committing to anything real. They might want to see if you still care. They might be checking if you've truly moved on. They might want to keep you as a backup option. The hard truth? If they genuinely wanted to reconnect, they would be clear and intentional about it. A serious person will take responsibility for their actions, express real regret, show a willingness to fix things and address past issues. If they're not doing any of that, then "let's talk" means nothing. Talking can be a way to keep you stuck. These types of empty conversations can drain your emotions and keep you stuck in the past. They often revolve around nostalgia, bringing up old memories that lead nowhere, rehashing past arguments without real resolution, unfinished business but no effort to truly fix things, talking in circles without any meaningful change. These discussions rarely bring real closure. Instead, they pull you back into old emotions, making you relive things you've worked so hard to move past. Because if your ex isn't bringing anything new or valuable to the table, then this conversation, it's more for their benefit than yours. Set boundaries. Before agreeing to talk, before you respond, ask yourself, What do I actually hope to gain from this conversation? Will this help my healing and personal growth? If the answer is nothing meaningful, then it's 100% okay to decline. You don't owe them your time. You don't owe them your emotional energy. Especially if the conversation has no clear purpose. If they're serious about reconnecting, they will respect your boundaries and come back with a clearer, more meaningful approach. Protect your peace. You've worked too hard to heal and grow. Don't let a vague message drag you back into confusion and emotional chaos. If they truly want to talk, make sure it's for a reason that aligns with your mental well-being and personal growth. Otherwise, it's better to keep moving forward and leave the past exactly where it belongs. Mistake number 6. Don't let guilt make you react. When your ex reaches out, their intentions aren't always clear or sincere. Sometimes, guilt is just another tool to pull you back in. They might say things like, "I just want to hear your voice one last time. I can't believe you're being so heartless." These words are designed to make you feel responsible for their emotions, to soften you up, to get you to react the way they want. But here's the truth. You don't owe them a response just because they're struggling with their own choices. Guilt is a control tactic. Guilt is a powerful emotion, and some people use it to manipulate. When an ex tries to guilt trip you, they're shifting the responsibility for their emotions onto you. They want you to feel bad for moving on. They want you to feel guilty for setting boundaries. They want you to believe that prioritizing your happiness is selfish. But here's what you need to remember. Their emotions are not your responsibility. You are not their therapist. You are not their savior. You are not their only source of emotional support. Recognize the manipulation and stand your ground. When someone tries to guilt trip you, what they're really doing is trying to regain control of a situation they've lost control over. Maybe they regret their decisions. Maybe they feel lonely or insecure. But that doesn't mean you have to fix their emotions for them, because your responsibility is to yourself, to your peace, your growth, and your future. Guilt can pull you back, but only if you let it. You have the right to move on without explaining yourself. You have the right to protect your peace without feeling guilty. Reacting out of guilt hurts you more. Giving in to guilt doesn't help you, and it doesn't really help them either. Instead, it reopens old wounds, revives toxic relationship patterns, drags you back into emotional chaos. Instead of letting guilt dictate your actions, choose peace. Remember, you've worked hard to heal and grow. You don't need to sacrifice your progress just to make someone else feel better. You are not responsible for their feelings. If your ex is truly struggling, that's something they need to handle on their own or seek professional help for, because they are not entitled to your time or energy just because they're having a hard time. Your boundaries are valid. Your peace is non-negotiable. Look deeper into your own guilt. Guilt often comes from unresolved emotions. If you feel bad for not responding, ask yourself, am I actually responsible for their emotions? Or am I just falling back into old habits of people-pleasing? Reminder, you can care about someone's well-being without carrying the weight of their emotions. You can wish them the best without sacrificing your own peace. Take back your power. By refusing to react out of guilt, you are reclaiming control over your own decisions, reinforcing your boundaries, prioritizing your peace and self-respect. You no longer let other people's emotions dictate your actions, and that is a powerful step forward in your personal growth. In my opinion, when a relationship ends, the most important thing isn't reacting emotionally, it's maintaining self-control. If an ex comes back, it's not always a second chance. Sometimes it's just a test, a way to see if you've truly moved on. Emotional control is everything. React impulsively, and emotions can cloud your judgment, making you forget your own worth. The key is to stay rational. If they truly regret leaving, it won't just be in their words, it'll show in their consistent actions. Forgiveness and closure are personal choices, not obligations. You don't owe anyone forgiveness or engagement just to ease their guilt. Forgive when you're ready, not because you feel pressured. Keeping your distance from an ex doesn't mean you're bitter. It means you're protecting your peace. There's no need to overshare about your life. Someone who truly respects you won't try to disrupt what you're building. And most importantly, don't let their return interrupt your growth. Stay focused on you, your future, and everything that makes you stronger. If their presence only brings doubt and instability, the best choice is clear. Walk away. A mature person doesn't let the past hold them back. They use it to build something even better. In summary, we've explored 7 common mistakes and how to handle them when an ex reaches out without losing your self-control. The biggest takeaway? Stay grounded. Don't let the past disrupt your personal growth. Reacting emotionally only makes you lose control. Pause. Breathe. Think before you respond. Don't assume their intentions. Words mean little. Actions reveal the truth. Forgiveness and closure are personal journeys, not obligations. You can forgive without reconciling. Set boundaries. Protect your peace by avoiding oversharing. Vague invitations. They mean nothing. Someone serious will prove it through actions. Guilt isn't your burden. Their emotions are not your responsibility. Most importantly, don't let their return derail you. You've come too far to be pulled back by a text or a call. Focus on your growth, your peace, and your future, because that's what truly matters. And those are the first mistakes to avoid when an ex reaches out. What matters isn't what they say, it's how you choose to respond. This isn't about the past anymore, it's about who you are now. You don't need validation from anyone. Your worth has never depended on a text or a phone call. This moment is yours. Choose calm. Choose self-respect. Make your next move, not based on fleeting emotions, but on the path you deserve. Have you ever been in this situation? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If this video made you reflect, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Stoic Station. And always remember, true freedom comes from within. See you in the next video. Until then, stay strong.